Well, there it is. Hi, welcome to a video, the first part of a series where I'm going to be covering Warcraft Chronicles of the Second War, Tides of Darkness. So currently this is a demo. There are no custom campaigns for Warcraft 3 Reforged, but it hasn't stopped these guys creating this experience for you to enjoy. It is, at the moment, downloaded as separate maps, which you put into your Warcraft 3 maps folder, download folder, and then you can play it that way. So my first video on this is essentially going to be watching through the original teaser, the second teaser, then the official trailer, and then we're going to be discussing the features on the Hive Workshop page with which you will be able to find all of this information. And they also have a Discord, but we'll get to that in a moment. So let's get started with the original trailer, the teaser. So there won't be too much reacting because a lot of this is actually voice acted, so it's actually very self-explanatory, but I just wanted to show off essentially what you're going to get to see originally as they're creating it, and then we'll get into maybe the second video will be actually gameplay, just so you know.
Hello and welcome. In this teaser we'd like to present the human kingdoms of our upcoming Second War campaign, fully remastered in Warcraft 3 Reforged.
See,
Hope you enjoy
voice
this
acted.
presentation.
How's the volume? Is that okay?
The people of Lordaeron stand proud and tall. Led by King Terence Menethil, Lordaeron is the largest and most powerful human kingdom in Azeroth.
He sounds
which
like
stands
Kitson.
ready to defend humanity against all threats. The Kingdom of Alterac is the smallest and the weakest of the human kingdoms. However, it's one of the richest and well-supplied nations.
So
Led
look how
by
the models
King
differ.
Aiden Pernold, the Alterakis stand ready for when the final call to arms is sounded. They'll stand by their human brethren of the Alliance.
So they're utilizing the Warcraft 3
The
Reforged
Major Nation of
models
Dalaran is a force to
and
contend
remodifying them
led by the current
to
Tor,
set into the
the
Warcraft
human and
2
elven mages of Dalaran
environment.
will rain fire and arcane magic upon all who dares to threaten the safety of their city-state.
They look badass. Magical ones.
The Gilneans of the Peninsula are the most secluded human kingdom, led by King Ging Greymane, and
Damn.
despite their gruffy and bland attitude towards others, the Gilneans are proud and brave warriors who will eagerly die to ensure their homeland's future.
Thank you there, Terrific, for the sub. There's a lot of Warcraft 2 campaigns, correct?
Being
Yeah.
the birthplace of the human civilization, Stromgarde is a kingdom built by warriors. Led by Thoras Trollbane, the Stromgardians value honor and strength above all else, and keeping to their Arathur roots, they're the first line of defense against anyone who would dare invade Lordaeron.
But you can see they're putting a lot of effort into this. Trying to get the colours right, everything, so it actually
Maritime
represents
Kingdom of
Warcraft 2.
Kultiras is known for its legendary fleet. Its far-ranging merchant ships made it the most prosperous nation in the known world. Led by Admiral Dalen Proudmore, the stout islanders of Kultiras will drown any and all who would dare to terrorize the sea.
That looks so good, man. Look, he's got a little pirate pistol as well, and everything.
At the end of the First War, the vast armies of Stormwind were devastated by the vile orcs. Led by Regent Lord Anduin Lothar, the survivors of this once proud and powerful kingdom are forced to retreat to Lordaeron and join the Alliance in hopes to exact vengeance upon the orcs and in hope of reclaiming their lost homeland.
Those shoulder pads. Lovely.
Our campaign will focus on the events of the Second War, last featured over 2 decades ago in Warcraft 2. We aim to recreate all missions and expand on the lore where it's needed. As you've seen, our project will feature custom models fitting both the original aesthetic as well as strong inspirations from World of Warcraft. In the next video, we'll show the
That looks like
Orcish
Grim
clans
Batal
and later
Bridge.
on some snippets from the campaign itself. Check out the links in the description below for more information. This has been Shadi. Until next time.
There you go. There's your narrator. Shadi. I think Shadi is the guy that actually worked on that sword, by the way. So the modeling for this weapon. That looks heavy. You imagine holding this weapon. You'd have to have some pretty brute strength for that. So that's the first teaser, essentially showing off the human Alliance forces. Now this second one is going to look at the orcs. It's quite a bit longer, so just be prepared for that. Oh, one other thing, if it wasn't mentioned earlier or wasn't obvious enough, this is a Reforged only campaign. So if you're going to play this, you have to play this with Reforged.
Chieftain. I have gathered the lore about all clans as you asked. Excellent work, Utak. Although we do know most of our clan's history, it's important to preserve it on the onset of the wars to come. The Black Rocks of Golgrond have suffered heavily during the First War with the humans. The clan and the Horde in general was almost led to ruin by the ruthless yet careless Black Hand the Destroyer. If it weren't for Orgrim Doomhammer, who killed Black Hand and took leadership of the clan and the mantle of the Warchief of the Horde, all would have been lost. Orgrim, however, led the Orcs to victory against the humans of Azeroth. Now, Doomhammer and the Black Rocks lead the front against the United Human Kingdoms, and the other clans follow, without hesitation. Being originally a part of the Black Rocks, this elite cadre of Orcs splintered off from the main clan before coming to Azeroth.
That's awesome to hear, Baron.
The Black Hand brothers, Wind and Mane. At first serving as scouts and outriders, the Black Tooths quickly gained fame.
Was it fun doing the voice acting? I've always been interested in that.
Flawlessly. Doomhammer assigned the clan to protect and overlook the Dark Portal, and send them off on secret missions as well.
Damn, that bow.
The bleeding hollow of Tunan Jungle
That looks well
embodies
good.
the unrelenting savagery required for many long years of successful orcish warfare.
Like the aesthetic is spot on. This is like the jungle environment.
Many times that superstition and barbaric practices are not an obstacle in the field of battle. And Doomhammer fully trusts Kilrog of safeguarding vital operations within the lands of Azeroth.
Notice how they're using the peons as well as actual warriors
A
there.
newly formed clan, Gul'dan managed to scrape whoever's left of his demon-ridden dogs known as the Shadow Council. To help make his promise to Doomhammer into reality, being kept on a short leash, Gul'dan is closely watched by our spies and informed the Warchief of his activities continuously.
He's a big lad.
To avoid the mistakes Black Hand made in the First War.
He's a big lad.
The Burning Blade is not a clan as much as it's an elemental force of nature. Chaotic and unpredictable, the Burning Blade is a brotherhood of demented orcs, whose only objective is to raise and plunder with no regard for their own safety.
These are the stupid
This
ones.
leaderless swarm is held in check by the ogres, to be unleashed by the clans in times of urgent duress. The Burning Blade holds loyalty to no one, and will attack any that they perceive to be a threat, even their fellow orcs. The Twilight Hammer originally started off as a gathering of fanatical pale orcs who were touched by the void and became mad and obsessed with oblivion. These mindless dogs were very hard to control and almost cost us the First War, until the Ogre Magi Cho'Gall stepped in and helped oversee them. Now, these mad orcs have a somewhat organized formation, but being closely tied to Gul'dan and his Storm Reavers, we still don't fully trust their sanity and their loyalty.
That's good to hear, Baron. I'm glad you had a good time doing
One
it.
of the oldest clans on Draenor, these Golgrond natives practiced beast mastery by befriending the flying predators we call Rylads. Chieftain Zuluhead followed Blackhand into Azeroth and served him faithfully during the First War.
Look at that grunt.
Honoring his word, he swore fealty to the new war chief and pledged himself and his clan into Blackhand's
shaved their
son's
heads.
service. The Frost Wolves of Frostfire Ridge were an honorable clan who fiercely protested against the Orcs' submission to the
Honor.
Fae, and for that they were banished before the First War even began. But that wasn't enough for the Shadow Council and Blackhand, who sent assassins to finish off the clan for good. They managed to kill the chieftain Duratan, his mate, and his son. But the rest of the clan survived and are living in exile away from prying eyes. To honor his late friend's memory, Doomhammer ordered the Horde to let the Frostwolves live in peace and away from bloodshed, and holds no obligation to serve the Horde. I may have disagreements with Doomhammer, but I agree that we shouldn't have delivered ourselves to the demons, and the Frostwolves were right to object. What about those clans who stayed on Draenor, Rutok? What can be said about them? Let me see.
I couldn't do a voice walk. I'd lose my voice within like 5
as
minutes.
the most respected of Orcish shamans in Draenor. Led by the wise and all-seeing Ner'zhul, the Shadow Moons were forced into submission by Gul'dan and his Shadow Council, and were ordered to remain behind to watch over the rest of the clans that were left on Draenor. The Nomads of Nogrond, known as the War Songs, are famous for their blood-curdling war cries while in the heat of battle. Led by ferocious Grommash Hellscream, they were ordered to stand down and remain on Draenor by Blackhand, shortly before the invasion of Azeroth began. They are part of the reserve forces that are eagerly waiting for the Horde's command for backup.
Those are the strong
The
orcs.
Thunderlords of Frostfire share strong ties with the Black Rocks of Glowgrond to the east, and Frostwolves to the west. Being led by the former Frostwolf, Fenris, son of Garad, the Thunderlords pride themselves of being giant slayers, and wouldn't think twice of fighting any enemy that might threaten them. These treacherous and mistrusted band of thieves are looked down upon by the clans of Draenor. Known for their skull masks that adorn their faces, the Laughing Skull are masters of hit-and-run tactics. These misfits were originally slaves of the ogres residing in High Maul, serving as gladiators, killing and dying for the spectators, until their leader, Kargoth Bladefist, rose in rebellion and destroyed his ogre masters.
So they're going to have their own
Using a crude and
animations
savage
for that.
ritual by cutting off their hands as a sign of loyalty to the clan. The Shattered
weapon.
Hand eagerly ache for the pain and suffering they wish to inflict upon others, as they love inflicting it upon themselves. The ravaging,
There's a lot of
cannibalistic
clans.
warriors of the Bone Chewer clan are well respected by the rest of the Horde, ornamenting themselves with the broken bones and ruined organs of their enemies. The Bone Chewers inspire fear and terror in all who behold them in battle, but should be carefully held in check, otherwise they might have ideas of devouring their fellow orcs.
There you go. It's so well made. You can clearly see there's so much sort of passion put into it. Alright, now for the official trailer, which is obviously a very recent announcement, as the game is now available demo form currently, I believe.
Glory to the Alliance!
There you go. So the first 4 missions, as of the recording of this video, are currently available. I'm going to basically read through the details at hiveworkshop.com, and then the next video will include me playing the first one of those missions. And then I'll obviously play the other ones as well. Right, so at hiveworkshop.com we have Warcraft Chronicles of the Second War, Tides of Darkness. Their features, FAQ, and media team updates. So the information is as follows. Since the release, let's try swapping over to this actually for this bit. There you go. That might be a bit easier for you to read. Maybe it's easier, maybe it's not. There we go. Oh wow, there's quite a lot actually to fit in there somehow. I'll just swap back and I'll just carry on as I was. So I'll zoom in a bit here. There you go. Yep, that looks good. I think you guys can read that as well. So, Warcraft Chronicles of the Second War, Tides of Darkness. Since the release of Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos and of Frozen Throne, I had a dream to recreate Warcraft 2 campaigns using the Warcraft 2 engine capabilities. I've been creating maps and models, doing long pauses, quitting and remaking stuff for years. When Warcraft 3 Reforged was released, it inspired me to finish this campaign. At that time in early 2020, new teammates that were driven by the same inner fire, get it, inner fire, contributed to the project significantly. Chronicles of the Second War, Tides of Darkness is the attempt to reforge the Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness campaign. This is a very complicated and challenging task because of great discrepancies between Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 3 lore, with World of Warcraft lore as well, different game mechanics, naval, and a big amount of chapters to make. At the current moment, the maps for Tide of Darkness Orc campaign are almost finished, and the polishing, voice acting, and bug fixing process is in progress. Since custom campaign feature is not available yet, the team decided to release the first 4 missions of Act 1 of Tides of Darkness Orc campaign as demo maps from Templiar. So, moving on to the features. Gameplay is vastly improved from Warcraft 2, now including side quests, creeps, and other mechanics from Warcraft 3. Warcraft 2 economy, prices and resource gain, no tax rates, naval resource for oil, naval buildings and ships, dual tech trees for buildings, basic and advanced. There's custom assets and more. Will feature both Warcraft 2 aesthetic as well as appearances from World of Warcraft. Custom models for most units and buildings. Snow caps system for all the buildings in winter tile set for deeper immersion. Dynamic weather and fog. Blood splats during the fights as well as the prolonged corpse decay time for more realism. Oh my. Voiced over dialogues. Some still not final. So my greatest concern really going into this is essentially the frame rate issues that you inevitably have with Reforged. There's a reason why I typically don't play Reforged. But obviously I get why they're using the Reforged graphics because it gives them the greatest excuse and also aesthetic to rebuild a really nice, gorgeous looking Warcraft 2 feel. So just got to bear in mind that it might not run the smoothest because we're going to have like weather, fog. Also, prolonged corpse decay means more mobs on the battlefield, which means more things that have to be rendered. So we'll see how it plays out. But since it's going to be a single player experience, it should at least be a lot more reasonable than playing as a multiplayer, as far as I know currently. Lore story will be heavily drawn from established lore in original games, that being World of Warcraft, Chronicles, and other book series. While there are some discrepancies when it comes to certain events and characters, we made sure to deliver a clean, straight, and presentable series of events that transpired in the Second War. In the book, Terrangoa was killed in the assault of Temple of the Dead, and Rakmar Sharpfang survived. Later, Rakmar was sacrificed by Gul'dan in a ritual to create Death Knights. In the campaign, we switched their fates to pop-up Terran, since he is a more important character for the Warcraft 2 plot unfolding. Rakmar will be shown as Death Knight cameo. So in the official lore, Orgrim personally slayed the warlocks in the Temple of the Damned and imprisoned Gul'dan. In the campaign, Orgrim was busy with Stormwind Siege and ordered Temple of the Damned siege to Blackhand sons that submitted to Orgrim after he killed their father. In official lore of the Second War, the main leader of the missions is Utok Scratcher. In campaign, he will be shown Orc as a semi-hero, like Naisha and Falric. In the human campaign, he will be a hero enemy boss during the Siege of Lordaeron. The characters from the original early games will be featured in our campaign, such as Rend Blackhand. He's available in the demo, as well as Suljin. Then there's Main Blackhand, Sulahad the Wacht, Cho'Gall, Gul'dan, Orgrim Doomhammer, and Necros Skullcrusher. So for those interested, if you want to play this, download the map. So you unpack them from each subfolder, and you place them into your Warcraft 3 Maps download folder, or another folder that you have within your Warcraft 3 Maps folder. So you can find that in, for me, I'll just demonstrate quickly. So C, Documents, Warcraft 3 Maps. So Documents, Warcraft 3 Maps. And then I've got multiple folders, but you might just have to download one. So that shows that off. When will the whole Orcish campaign be released? There is no precise answer for this question. We have all the mats, but still need to work on recording the voice acting, fix bugs, and polish the cinematics, make models for the Dwarven tech tree. We also have jobs and families. All we can say is we're trying our best. Is this the final version? If not, when we get updates? Hotfixes and simple things can be added soon, but major requests will be analysed and probably will be included in final release. Voice acting, cinematics, spelling errors could be better. As stated in the intro screen voices aren't final. We will work with professionals and passionate fans to deliver the best we can. That applies to cinematics and grammar as well. If you're interested in voice acting and have a good mic setup, pod mic for example, contact ShadiHD and our Discord below. I'll get to the Discord in a moment. Some missions feel a bit slow and could use more action. Will you improve them? Yes, we have received a vast amount of feedback. Thank you all for it. Mission 1 will be reworked to an extent, making it more enjoyable. Some other aspects have been fixed, such as oil resource, and we're trying our best to make the game enjoyable. This is like the most important one, because if you've ever played Warcraft 2 before, it can be very painful. I did recently play the game, probably about a year ago or so, I think, when they re-released Warcraft 2 with a little bit higher fidelity, if you remember that happened. Was that Good Old Games, I think? So I was going into it basically being very wary, because I actually prefer Warcraft 1, and I think I still do. But Warcraft 2 is essentially better than Warcraft 1 in so many aspects, in terms of the models, the humor, the characters, the aesthetic, the music, like everything else is better. But the painful thing was the mechanical naval gameplay. So whilst Warcraft 1 isn't exactly smooth to play, like it's a very hard game to play, it's clunky, but if you know how to micro and stuff like that, you can still get good use out of it. There was a lot of land maps. Warcraft 2 had so many sea maps, and I hate basically going from one island to another, getting just enough resources to build just enough boats to go to the next island, build a town hall, soak up the gold mine, get just enough resources to build, and I had that fear, but when I did play through Warcraft 2 not that long ago, it wasn't as bad as I remember it being. But that was always my biggest gripe with Warcraft 2. So hopefully they do some work on that, where they just, don't stick as much as you have to the original, because the original had clunky gameplay. If it makes the gameplay better, then feel free to just include more land mass or something like that. You don't need to have 6,000 islands with which you have to keep landing on. So see how it goes. How is the lore set up? What about this or that retcon and missions? Mission sequence follows Warcraft 2. Novels and WoW lore is used to give more depth in the story. Things like Conquest of Khaz Modan will be shown in cutscenes, same as with other expanded or not playable lore bits from Warcraft universe. Do you guys plan to share the custom models? We are, but not at this time. Some WoW-related models will be available before campaign release. Part of the models will be released when the Orcish campaign is finished, and another part with subsequent campaigns. Is there a way to support you? If you want to support us financially, you can do so via PayPal, and you don't need to register. Best solution is just to donate with a credit card and set a note. Add a note when donating with the nickname you want us to put in supporters list, or keep it completely anonymous. We'll be thankful regardless. Under Activision Blizzard's new policy, we cannot provide any privileged features such as early access or content, locked content for backers. So everyone will get the same amount of content at the end, but that's just okay with us. So you can obviously support them through the donate link there on the page. You can follow behind the scenes. There's another video here. It's actually quite short. I'll just glance over it, because otherwise I don't want this to be too long as it is. But he shows working on the models.
I've managed to retain the original design.
So he's got original designs. These are all the texture packs. So you apply these texture sections onto various 3D elements, and then that helps to build the environments that you're going to be seeing inside the game.
As they were featured in Reforged aesthetic. Through the project's realization and the highest
So there you go.
quality of features.
It's good stuff to see. And there's the team. So, this is the first video essentially introducing what this actually is. The next video will be me playing Chapter 1. And then the next video, so forth, will be Chapter 2. And then when the maps are released, beyond that point, I'll revisit, because I'm not sure when they're going to get around to it. Like they say, they've got jobs, they've got families. This is a passionate project, so it's something that's going to be done slowly over time. So as the maps become available, I'll likely create content around them as it happens. But for now, in the immediate time of this video being created, you'll get these 4 levels within the next bunch of days. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to see more, then make sure to stay tuned to the channel, youtube.com/WTiiWarcraft, where I'll be uploading Chapter 1 and so forth. Thanks again for watching. Take care.